Hello and welcome to the big picture. There has been a lot of debate in the country over the use of social media by politicians and political parties in their campaigns and also to generate and enhance their image. There has also been a debate on whether there is a need for regulation of the social media and whether it is possible at all. Concerns over curbing the freedom of speech and expression have also been expressed. However, the dramatic revelations made by the Cobrapost last week, when they stung a number of IT companies or calling themselves as IT companies who manage social media, is shocking to say the least. The owners and managers of the companies stung have revealed how they can manipulate social media to the advantage of the purchaser and how they can create negative campaigns and rubbish the reputations of people. Some even talk of creating a riot and spread negative rumors. All that they boastfully claim, and some who even displayed their achievements, are all shocking and even criminal. Much of what they claim they can do, all for cash payments, violates many laws, including the Information Technology Act, Income Tax Act, Representation of Peoples Act, among others. The revelations makes it clear that time has come to look into this seriously and think of how the social media marketing can be regulated. We will discuss all this today, the dangers of such social media manipulations and criminal acts which these companies are indulging in, and what needs to be done to curb it. To discuss this, I have with me Aniruddha Bahal, founder and editor of Cobrapost.com, which conducted the sting operation; Pawan, Duggal, advocate and IT law expert; Rajesh, Chharia, president, Internet Service Providers Association; and on the phone line from Bangalore is Ravi, Visvesvaraya, Sharada, Prasad, an independent telecom consultant. Welcome to all of you. Aniruddha, I would like to come to you first. See, one of the things that, though all that you have put out on your website and all those things are quite pretty shocking and pretty revealing, one of the things which is said about you is that this has been a very deliberate thing you have done to tarnish the image of a certain political party or only a few people.
Girish, you are absolutely wrong in that, and we go where the investigation takes us. I mean, if you were to do 10 talk shows which went against a particular party because of the news environment, would then, if somebody raised a charge against you that you were against that party, would you feel that that is true? So you are asking something of a journalist. We are just messengers, and messengers are used to getting shot. So that is nothing new to us. I mean, if a story goes against a particular political party, and in which case, I don't think, you see, because what evidence these internet companies are saying to us that the CEOs and the founders and the technology officers and so on and so forth, that they can manipulate the social media and they can also do cyber parties for us at the rivals of people who buy their particular services. Now, some of them are also claiming to be working for Mr. Narendra Modi's campaign. Now, it's a question of investigation whether what they have claimed or what they have promised to do for us, they are also doing for that campaign. So people are just linking it together and saying that we have declared that they work for Narendra Modi's negative campaign, if at all such a thing is happening. So I think that is something that other people are linking up. We are not doing that.
Aniruddha, you understand that the atmosphere now, the elections are on, the elections fever is on all over the place. So obviously these kind of questions will be raised.
It doesn't bother us in the least, because there are a lot of this is typical way. It has nothing to do with election fever. There are people who are pro certain camp, there are people who are pro anti certain parties, and they all sort of rake up this atmosphere just to sort of run down the messenger so that they feel they can run down the story and so escape the consequences of what the story reveals.
Okay, Aniruddha, why did you take up this thing? What prompted, what motivated you to take up this issue?
Investigation. It is a very simple thing, for the last ever since last year, you look at the northeast exodus from a few cities, Bangalore, Pune, etc., because of social media rumors. You look at what happened in Muzaffarnagar. There were a lot of allegations from political parties and from the executive that it was because of the inflammatory CD, doctored inflammatory CD. You look at all around social media how fake doctored videos are made to go viral, whether it is regarding Rohingyas, treatment of Rohingyas in Burma, in the Bangladesh issue. You look at what happened after the Patna blast, how a certain Nitish Kumar was blamed suddenly within some time of the blast happening. So these are all orchestrated responses. You see, the problem is that we are not bothered about you and me and other individual people using social media. It is when companies step in and do it on an organized manner and for paid services that it becomes a dangerous game.
Right. Mr. Rajesh Chharia, was this something which was in the knowledge of the internet service providers, that something like this is happening? Social media has become big business and people are using it for these kind of purposes.
This social media becomes very popular from the election of President Obama, and after that it has gone viral. The election of President Obama and the social media was just natural. There was nothing commercial into that.
But this was sometime in 2008.
Yeah, but after that, in India, it has become a very commercial item. And the way we are seeing and we are experiencing the social media, it is like becoming like it has become a commercial house. Here, the ISP or as an individual, I will have a suggestion that, like the Google, I'm naming the Google. Google has come out very clearly that my search engine is very neutral and I am putting the advertisement onto the right hand scroll.
Right.
And this is the very openness done by the Google. The same way, all the social networking site should also come out with a very openness and fairness that we are doing openness or we are doing in the closed manner. If they are into the commercial business, they should come out very openly into the commercial business that this is our business. As into the media, print media, we are also experiencing that when the print media is putting something for the advertisement, print news, then they are putting the line that this is the advertisement,
right.
You should not take it otherwise.
Right.
So the same way, the social networking side also come out very transparently that if we are using this, we are using this for the commercial purpose. And in the technological time, we have got so much of tools to monitor this, whether all this request to the social networking site is coming from one IP or one IP pool.
But that seems to have been completely, manipulated by these operators. Aniruddha, how are they? There are several ways in which these, if you have gone through through a video and also the story which was there, but they have used several different ways of manipulating this here. Mr. Chharia says that normally, we should know from which server, from which IP address these things come, but they seem to have overcome these problems.
Yeah, they're using proxy servers. They say that they will hack into servers in Germany, Ukraine, and even the US. They'll use border attacks. So basically, they are going to post material which is favorable to you and inimical to your rivals through media, through ways in which it can't be traced back to them. They're saying they will use assembled laptops so that forensically you cannot hunt them down. They will use fictitious identity cards to get internet connections. They will use sort of servers abroad so that the Indian courts cannot jurisdiction is not on them. So there are several layering projects that they say that they do, and it is their expertise lays in them. So that is what, and I'm just naming a few. There are several other processes that they said that they would indulge in when they took on such jobs like taking on your rivals on your behalf for money.
Okay. Ravi, can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ravi, what Aniruddha just said, the methodology, the methods which they are using to overcome or violate the laws. You think these are all possible? These have all been happening? Is this something which has been in the knowledge of people like you and independent professionals who have been tracking these kind of things?
Certainly, this is not new, and this has been going on for several years in many countries, especially the US, where politicians have been using social media to manipulate a lot of disinformation and spread falsehood. Because what social media, what YouTube, Twitter and Facebook do is that they give each individual in the world the power to be a television broadcasting station, an anonymous television broadcasting station with worldwide reach, an anonymous newspaper with worldwide reach. Now, the problem is you're trying to apply the old world physical norms and modes of behavior
I think that we'll get back to Ravi. I think he's got disconnected. Pawan, are these something which people were aware when the IT Act came into force? This was not envisaged. Is this something new? And does the present IT Act with all the amendments manage to deal with these kind of things or can deal with these issues?
Well, the Information Technology Act 2000 primarily was an e-commerce enabling legislation with very limited focus on cybercrimes. They never could ever think in the wildest of dreams that these kinds of things could happen in 2000. But by the time it's 2008, they had realized that there were changes happening and consequently they amended the law. But even that point of time, the amended IT Act did not deal with social media, with misuse of social media. Now what we are seeing at Cobrapost is nothing but cybercrime as a service being delivered. We are used to e-commerce as a service. Here is companies providing you with a service of cybercrime. We will do this dirty job for you for a particular consideration. Now under the law, deficient that it is, there are still certain acts which would qualify as an offense. Now when you actually send some information from a computer source that's grossly offensive or menacing in character, that's a specific offense under section 66A of the Information Technology Act 2000. Similarly, if you hack somebody else's computer system, that's a separate offense that gets you 3 years imprisonment and 5 lakh rupees fine under section 66 of the IT Act. Similarly, you post information which you know is false, but which you have posted for the purposes of causing annoyance, inconvenience, hatred, ill will, enmity.
All this
is covered.
No, and if you go through the Cobrapost, revelations, the tapes which they have, everything, all these things are being violated.
And more significantly, that the gentleman's statement who says that we can point or we can actually place a bomb and create terror. Now this is nothing but misusing of technology for purposes of creating terror and panic amongst a section of the population. Clearly this would qualify as cyber terrorism, which is a newly defined offense punishable under section 66F. Life imprisonment is what all it gets you. Well, these are some of the ways how the IT Act covers the Cobrapost expose. But clearly, the expose has shown far more new ingenious methodologies of how technology is being misused, which the law is not yet even capable of understanding, comprehending, leave aside, regulating the same.
Absolutely. Ravi, I think we have Ravi back. Ravi?
Yes.
One of the persons who have been stung says that, we can disable IP addresses and, they say that, For instance,
Hello?
they say, yes, for instance, they say that if on a particular page there is a thumbs up and a thumbs down sign, and if somebody presses thumbs down, they will disable that thumbs down, thing. See, all kinds of things seem to have been invented. Is this something which can be controlled at all, technologically?
Yeah, sir. Certainly all this can be controlled. In fact, to go back to my previous statement, the social media, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, allow each individual in the world to be a private broadcasting television broadcasting station and a journal who can be anonymous, and you can be without any ethics, and you can be anonymous and untraceable. So basically, you're trying to deal with your offline world of an anonymous broadcasting radio station or TV station, or an anonymous publication spreading hate mail, spreading disinformation, with the new technologies which are instantaneous and anonymous and largely untraceable in real time. So a lot of things are possible. Basically, you can set up proxy servers that will mimic Facebook pages, that will mimic likes. You can try to break into a lot of servers and manipulate those. This has been done a lot in the US. There are a lot of kind of very unscrupulous politicians in the US as well as in Europe who have been using these technologies and methodologies to disinformation against their political rivals for the last 4 or 5 years. It's been going on abroad.
So this is what these people have learned from them, and what we are seeing now in India is what has already been happening in the West.
Yeah, there are a lot of dirty tricks companies which are available for hire in the US and in many countries of the world, and which are effectively difficult to trace, and it's going to be impossible for Indian law enforcement agencies to go after them in real terms, in practical terms in real time.
Okay. Mr. Chharia, you know, all these things are happening. Has there been any effort on the part of the internet service providers to come together? Has there been any effort to understand this problem first before, tackling it?
The internet service provider are mainly the stream provider.
Yes.
We are not looking at all towards the content, what content is flowing. And even we are controlled by the Department of Telecommunication, who is the licensor. And if they are advising us for any blocking of any content or any website, we are doing and we are adhering to that. But of our own, we are not doing any type of this content reading or content monitoring.
Do you think the Department of Telecommunication has understood this problem or even aware of it, of this kinds of problems?
No, everybody is aware of this, but till the time the complaint will not come to the department or the certain, I don't think they will be able to react on that. First of all, anybody should complain about these things. Everybody knows that the commercialization is happening towards the social media website, and the social media websites are also being misused, and the social media websites are also doing something mischievous also, which is not good for the country. Like the Muzaffarnagar you referred.
Yes.
The social media guy should have a responsibility to immediately bring down those disputed content, so that the spread.
How does it do that? How is it possible for them to do thousands and thousands of videos are uploaded on the YouTube? How are they going to decide which one is which one is a benign one, which one is not so benign?
No, because what happened for the Muzaffarnagar, the complaint has gone on the very same day when the video has come out onto the social media site. But they taken plenty of time in removing that content. Here they are not showing their responsibility. In spite, they are claiming that 50% of the user are coming from India, and they are making a lot of revenue from the advertisement from the India. So at least they should adhere to the Indian law. When the Indian peace, Indian communal harmony is in danger, they should come out for that.
Aniruddha?
Yeah.
Aniruddha, after this came out, after you people published this and went public on this, has there been any action taken so far? Do you know of any cognizance being taken of what has happened by the authorities?
No, I don't know anything about that. We just did our story. The only cognizance
Nobody,
I'm saying is,
no
is
authority,
people coming up.
no authority has sought the tapes from you. No authority has
No.
tried to find out how you did it and who are these people. Nothing.
Nothing. And in fact, I would go further to say that I've been getting a lot of abuses on my Twitter feed, which is okay. And a lot of people are getting after the messenger.
Using the same methods, I suppose.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're saying.
But I think one point I would like to make here
Yes.
is that the recent, I think, Delhi High Court judgment makes it, I think it's a few months old, makes it mandatory for all these service providers to have a grievance officer in India. And it is a legitimate sort of thing, because if we have a certain, like for instance, it was just mentioned that it is, I think I would bat for the service providers in the sense that you don't know, thousands of pieces of content are posted on you about what they mean and whether they are malicious in a certain way to a particular community, or they could cause a communal sort of disharmony. But if you receive a complaint from and then you should get into it, and you should basically, who do we report to? So we should have a grievance officer. I mean, there was a particular case where they said that the grievances you report to an email, and the email the person was you have to send by post, and the particular company had a postal address out of Ireland. So by the time your complaint would reach there and action would be taken, it would be many days. So I think they should appoint somebody here. If you have a lot of advertising revenue you're earning from India, then I think it's a legitimate right, and you have to in any case follow the order of the courts of India.
But Aniruddha, from what we have heard on the tapes, none of them are the payments which are being made to them are all black money payments. They're all payments made in cash.
That's what I'm saying. That's a criminal investigation. It's a tax investigation. It should be investigated by a unit capable of understanding technology and cyber crime, as Mr. Duggal mentioned, that this is basically the selling of cyber crime as a service, and that is what basically it is in a nutshell. And if people are doing it, you need for the law to wake up, you need for the law to be amended in certain ways, but at the same time I must caution you that it should not in any way sort of put a curb on the individual liberty to free speech. As if we come back to the original point I made, which is there should be a balance between you and me who use it and others who are using it in an organized, criminally commercial way.
Pawan, how do we do this? Well, how do we ensure that my freedom of expression, my freedom of speech is not curbed, and then all these things are curbed at the same time.
I think somewhere down the line we'll have to maintain a harmonious balance between regulating and between enablement. Now, the law is already in place. The law now recognizes a huge new category known as an intermediary.
Yes.
All network service providers, all social media search engines and platforms are intermediaries. Section 79 of the IT Act says, if you are an intermediary, please exercise due diligence while you discharge your obligations under the law. If you don't do so, you become liable in the same capacity as that of a accused. Now, clearly, there have been the IT Rules 2011, which have been enacted by the government, which categorically says, please have in place adequate rules and regulations, terms and conditions, and privacy policy, which actually informs all your users that they will not misuse your platform for the purposes of disseminating anything which is defamatory, derogatory. However, despite these, almost all of these provisions are paper tiger provisions. They are not being implemented.
Are they implementable?
They are capable of being implemented. The IT Act is very clear. Whether you are located in India or outside India, the moment your services impact a computer system or a mobile located in India, you become amenable to Indian IT law.
For instance, I'll give you one of the tapes. This person tells the reporter that we are going to set up a server outside India, and then we'll finish the job and close it down and walk away.
That's fine. So long as you're doing it from a computer system located in India, the IT Act becomes totally applicable. But what it really required is political will to effectively enforce. From 2008, when the amendments took place, till today, when we are talking, no coercive action has been taken against any service provider. Now, why are we...
Is this only lack of political will, or is there a problem with implementing these laws and the technology and curbing misuse of this kind of technology?
Couple of things. The law is not absolute. The law is not 100% of what we want to do it. The law, the IT Act, is already outdated because its last was amended in 2008. Since then, huge technological advances have taken place. The first learning is we need to amend the law. Number two, it's going to take some time to amend the law given the coalition politics. Therefore, the better scenario is let's pick up the pieces of existing law and see how we can effectively enforce them. And number three, enforcement requires not just sensitization of all relevant stakeholders, but also to ensure that the letter and spirit of the law are effectively implemented.
Yes, Chharia.
One thing what Aniruddha has spoken, that when you are working from India, when you are making so much of revenue from advertisement from India, you should appoint one grievance officer over here. Another thing, you should be having...
Who should appoint?
The social foreign internet companies, like the social networking site.
Okay.
Why I'm saying, because whenever our honorable court or anybody is serving the notice on them, they simply say, this is not our office. Our offices are overseas, and you serve your notice or any summons over there.
Now, for instance, these major companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, all of them have offices in India now.
Everybody has got the office.
They can't make these claims anymore.
No. Still they are saying that because our servers are outside the India, we are not governed by your law. Our offices are only for the development purpose and for the marketing purpose, not for taking any notices. This is a very big thing.
It's high time that the courts should now come down with a strong hand to say this argument is superfluous, cosmetic, and let's throw it out of the window.
There's Mr. Chharia, another thing which you can hear in these tapes. One of the persons telling the reporter, he says that Google has certain technology or conditions or whatever which will not allow us to misuse it as much as we can misuse, say, Facebook or Facebook. Facebook even accepts paid likes, and whereas Twitter doesn't accept paid likes. What is this?
This is in the first instance I told you that the Google has come out very openly that we are doing a very fair search engine, but we are making the revenue from the advertisement which is onto our right hand website, nothing else. This is the openness. But the likes, dislikes which the social media is creating is absolutely commercial, and this is directly impacting the complete social political life of our country.
Ravi,
Yes.
Ravi, one small little thing I want a clarification on. When these people say that Google doesn't allow this, Facebook can be manipulated, does it mean that the Facebook is being manipulated without the knowledge of the Facebook owners or whoever it is, Facebook owner, or is it being done with their knowledge? They know all these things are happening.
No. Facebook and Twitter certainly know all this is happening because there are thousands of what are called euphemistically called reputation management firms.
Exactly.
In Europe.
Yes.
You know, it's which is they call themselves reputation management industry.
Yes.
But essentially they are kind of into the. You can buy Facebook likes, you can buy Facebook friends, you can buy Twitter followers, you can get your tweets retweeted so many thousands of times. Now, all this is a kind of very big industry, political industry in the US in the last 3-4 years. Most of it is extremely unethical, but it is a big industry. Industrial practices are going on. These unethical practices in US and Europe are going on because it is very difficult to enforce them, even though they are illegal in many European countries. Because you really cannot track these companies, these so-called reputation management companies, in real time. They spoof the IP addresses, they use anonymizers,
Okay.
they outsource, to a lot of countries like India, Bangladesh, and all, where you can, or Ukraine and Turkey. In fact, I think a lot of Indian politicians are buying friends on Facebook and followers on Twitter.
Right.
Most of them, the kind of friends and following on Twitter and Facebook are coming from Turkey and Ukraine and Russia.
Okay, Ravi.
So certainly it's a very big business, and 99% of it is either illegal or unethical.
99% of this business is either illegal or unethical. Aniruddha, quickly, this online reputation management, this is what it is called apparently, ORM, online reputation management. Is this what is going to decide how the politics in this country is going to be played in the coming days?
Well, I'm not going to give it a lot of halo right now. I'm saying that this is one of the ways that the political parties, we did a program a few months back through Foundation of Media Professionals on how social media could impact elections, and it is marginal at the moment, but then it is building up. And but the more dangerous aspect here is about how these social media firms could, for a bit of money, sort of character assassinate your rivals. Now that is dangerous, and we are getting into sort of dangerous territory. I mean, I would even treat the buying of Facebook likes and Twitter followers as relatively benign,
Right.
Even though they might be unethical and they might be following illegal processes, but I would make a distinction between that, because I don't think in the long run it really works. I mean, nobody's really, he could be seeding you, this guy has 100,000 likes, so let me also like this page. So apart from that, I don't think it's really helping you at the ground level. But if you are seriously going about damaging the reputation of your rivals, and some of the mud might stick and it could hurt that person, that is very dangerous territory.
Not just person, Aniruddha, it can hurt the country also.
That's right.
Last
It's
word,
a national security issue in many ways.
It's a national security issue. Pawan, it is a national security issue, right?
It is a national security issue. It is going to impact the sovereignty, integrity, security of India, because through cyber crimes and through this misuse of social media, you are effectively aiming to hijack the electoral process.
Absolutely.
And while the Election Commission of India currently does not know what to do about, it's high time that you come up with appropriate regulations, a mandatory registration for these kinds of service providers who are claiming to be online service providers for protecting reputation. Some proactive steps have to be taken.
I think on that note we need to end. It's a very shocking, dangerous situation which has developed, and there is we can't be brushed under the carpet. It is something which the government and the authorities need to take very serious note of and get on to the process of regulating these kind of very dangerous things which have been happening on the online. Thanks to all my guests, Aniruddha Bahal, Ravi Visvesvaraya, Prasad, Rajesh, Chharia and Pawan Duggal. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on the big picture, same time tomorrow.